Welcome to the Not So Kind Regards podcast. I'm Maddie Birdcage.
And I'm Caroline Moss.
We are done with the digital fluff and pleasantries.
And we're here to talk straight about brand building, digital marketing, and personal growth.
Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 1 of the Not So Kind Regards podcast. And you will notice we are in a very different setup. And I'm joined by the wonderful Caroline Moss, who is our Senior Marketing Strategist at Birdcage.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Caroline's going to be here with us every single week as she is joining us as our new co-host, which I'm super excited about. We have a very similar background in terms of blog writing, copywriting, being generalists, but then Caroline went in to specialize in ads, which is perfect because she's definitely much more analytical. She's much more organized than I am, but I think we make a really good pair because between the two of us, there's no idea that we can't figure out.
We fill each other's gaps in knowledge.
Absolutely. So you may notice an accent. Caroline is originally from Florida, but she now lives here in Australia in Cairns. And I'm very excited to have her joining us in the Mackay studio today.
For those who don't know, Cairns is about an 8-hour drive north of Mackay. So even though we're both very much North Queensland, we're still very far apart.
Yeah, we're in the same state in the northern part of it, yet 8 hours away, which crazy. You drive 8 hours in Europe and you're in 4 different countries.
Yeah.
So this season is going to be all about diving extra deep into our formula, our framework, as well as speaking with other experts, including our Birdcage experts, so members of the team, but also outside guests that we will be bringing in. What we're really hoping is to build on the initial success and all the stuff that you guys loved from the first 2 seasons of the podcast and just go deeper on things like audience strategy and brand strategy and funnels, as well as talking about more current issues that business owners and creators are facing, including what we're going to be talking about today, which is the TikTok ban potentially in the United States.
This is a wild story, and I think we're both a little bit in shock. We've been following it quite closely. We're not scared in any way, but boy, is it's weird news.
It's crazy to think that the US are more happy to ban a platform that has provided so much opportunity to business and personal creators and their economy, and yet they still are not doing anything about gun control, where kids literally can't go to school safely. Now, if you don't know anything about it, and I know a lot of our listeners, we have listeners all over the world, but I know a lot of you are Australian because we are in Australia. Now, if you haven't been following what's happening with the TikTok ban, basically, it's gone through the House of Representatives, it's gone through the Senate, and now Biden has signed off on the bill to ban TikTok. Now, why do they want to ban TikTok? Because it is a Chinese-owned company. They are concerned that the Chinese Communist Party could potentially put pressure on the TikTok company to share sensitive information about US residents. I don't know what kind of sensitive information people are sharing on TikTok necessarily.
I think it's the control of the data. And I know Meta goes through the ringer with the US government. Most of the platforms do, but they can hold them to certain standards because they are US companies. Whereas a Chinese company, they can't really hold them to any laws. So I think that lack of control is what scares them.
I mean, I'm just speculating and saying I feel it's because they can't hold TikTok for ransom and put them under pressure to censor things. I feel like that's the actual reason behind it. That is based on nothing except what I've been hearing and what I would logically assume. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a national security expert, but I'm struggling to see what data is there that TikTok has on people
that you couldn't just find on the internet.
What data are they connecting that you like to scroll cat videos? I can't understand it. It's not like we enter, unless you're a business. I mean, you're entering credit card information when you pay for ads potentially. Anyway, so what happens next? So Biden, the president, has now signed off and saying, yes, we want to ban it. Technically, that means that the TikTok company has 9 months to sell to a US entity for TikTok to stay alive and well in the US, or
be banned.
It gets taken off the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my understanding is that TikTok is going to challenge this in court, which means the 9 months technically won't start until after that whole court proceeding. So there could still be years ahead of us. It also means that whilst TikTok won't be available for download anymore through the App Store, you can still, if you've got it on your phone already, they can't make you delete it off your phone. But eventually it just means that there will be no more updates. And then eventually if you update your phone, you will no longer have a compatible app. But what people are also saying is that Gen Z are very good at circumventing tech restrictions. What if there's just going to be a really hot market for 2024 iPhones that have the TikTok app still on it? You know?
Yeah. So I'd love to know, Maddie, why you don't seem stressed about this as someone who has built a very good reputation on TikTok, gets a lot of sales and leads through TikTok.
Well, I guess first of all, I'm not in the US, I'm in Australia, but I'm under no illusion that the US market is always a huge market for Australian businesses if you're clever enough to tap into it because of the population there. And we have a lot of US customers and students, and with the Australian peso as it is, it's good value for the US, people in the US to buy our course right now. And so I feel like as though it will affect, if we cut off our US customer base, it would affect our business. The reason I'm not stressed about it is because I've seen this before. Not with TikTok, obviously. I've seen it with Google in 2016 when overnight they decided that businesses had to have a mobile responsive website. I was in this game prior to websites having to be mobile compatible. Then again, I saw it when the Instagram and Facebook algorithm switched from chronological to algorithmic. I saw it again in 2021 with the iOS 14.5 update where Apple no longer allowed Facebook. And eventually it's going to be Google Ads as well, right? Basically, you can't track what people do on Apple devices so much, which is good for privacy, bad for advertisers. But again, if you were purely relying on ads, which so many brands were, that affected your results overnight. And so this is nothing new. And if anything, the fact that we've got 9 months notice, potentially years, this is easy stuff.
And what does this create? Is this an opportunity or a big headache?
I see it as an opportunity. The attention has to go somewhere. And that's why I always say we're platform agnostic. We don't care what platform we use. If I was talking 10 years ago, I'd be telling everyone you need to be using Google, which is when I started the business, and we were an SEO and Google agency primarily. 10 years prior to that, I'd be telling you, you need newspaper, you need radio, you need direct mail. It's just the reason I love TikTok is I love the people and the creators that are on there, yes, but I love it for its brand discoverability and the fact that it is so easy to be found by new audiences, and that's why we use it as our top of funnel platform. But if TikTok didn't exist anymore, people are going to have to consume content somewhere.
They're trained to sit on their phones and scroll.
Yeah, people are saying YouTube Shorts, don't love the YouTube algorithm. Brand discoverability makes it really difficult, so I'm struggling to see how it could translate. I think potentially Instagram could get a resurgence again. That's kind of where I've got my money.
I mean, I'd love to see another app platform come out as well.
I just don't feel like it can be done, though, because I think the reason why TikTok is so powerful is because of its algorithms.
Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that it came out during COVID as well? Yeah. I think that was a make it or break it for them, and I don't know how they timed that so well.
Dun, dun, dun.
Don't go there. That's a good one, though.
I mean, I'm not saying that TikTok staged COVID so we'd all be locked in our houses and have to use their app, but the timing is coincidental. I think people have a lot of really happy memories from that time.
I was already over a new platform. So I think I'm sit in the camp with a lot of businesses and brand owners who are like, oh, I feel like I'm late to the party with TikTok. So maybe this is a great opportunity to, whether it's TikTok or another platform, to seize the opportunity that this creates.
What it is, if you're sitting there going, oh my God, I have to learn a whole nother platform, and you wouldn't be feeling that if you used our methods. If you did your strategy first, if you were creating content based on your audience, if you didn't get so hung up on the platform tactics, I don't really care about platform tactics. People ask me, how long should my video be? When should I post? How many hashtags should I use? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Test it and see. I know what works for my account. I know what works for our clients' accounts, but it's like, until you actually use those accounts, until you do it for yourself, it kind of is different. There are universal laws which come down to psychology, though. Use hooks to hook people in, but that's not platform based.
No, hooks have been around in newspapers, in ads, and like since the dawn of copywriting.
Since the dawn of writing.
Yeah. Since the dawn of storytelling.
Exactly. It's like hooks are nothing new.
How long your hook should be, though, and how captivating it is, and the payoff, and
all of that is just, that's human psychology. That's just how to keep people interested 101. So that's got nothing to do with tactics. Now, if you are using a strategy that's like what we teach and what we use, your content is based on your audience. It's based on not particularly the demographics of your audience. That's just like the base level, but it's on the psychographics. Yes. It's also based on their audience schemas, which are based on psychological schemas, which is something that's very unique to our process. It's based on then how you use brand archetypes, which that's not unique to how we do it, but the way that we apply it is based on the audience schemas. Therefore, that process in itself is unique. And it's also based on our ladder of transformation, which that just dictates that you've got every brand is delivering 3 levels of transformation: a functional, emotional, and an identity-based one. And so if you are creating content around those 3 things, and then you are focusing on the user experience journey, the customer journey, understanding what you need to say at what point to get them to do what you want them to do, then it doesn't matter what platform you're posting to. Where's your audience? Post there.
And what type of content, whether it's written, verbal, video.
So if you are stressed about this TikTok ban, that tells me that you actually don't have a strategy and you don't have a diversified approach in your marketing.
And you don't have a marketing funnel with other platforms to lean on their strengths.
So Caroline, what are you telling because you do all the one-on-one mentoring for our one-on-one mentoring clients. So you are also a huge contributor to Birdcage Marketing School. You're also the one who hosts the one-on-one coaching calls that students can book in the school. What are you telling your students, your mentoring clients to do when it comes to their marketing in order to prepare for this potential ban?
We're going through our framework and we're, going through the steps. And anytime you come up against a challenge in your marketing, it's go back to the strategy, rework the strategy, get re-inspired by the strategy. See if you've learned anything new about your audience. See if there are platforms that you're not using within our strategy, within our framework that you can be using or leveraging. So I'll get specific. You have organic social media platforms. That's a great place to find new people, to nurture them, to create community. But I see a lot of clients and a lot of students not using email marketing to its fullest potential. And everybody likes to say that they don't check their emails or they don't use email marketing, but we still see that it can bring in 30 to 40% of your overall yearly revenue. That should be speaking for itself. That is a statistic you can go look up. You can also be using Meta ads, LinkedIn ads, Pinterest ads, TikTok ads. Like there are so many platforms and that's just scratching the surface. You can be creating blogs, newsletters, podcasts. You're creating a marketing and a content ecosystem that uses multiple touch points, that creates trust, creates value with your audience. And that's what you need to focus on, not the platform.
I feel as though the biggest thing people need to do is, well, people are saying download your TikTok videos. Absolutely. Actually, again, if you don't have the originals of your videos, that tells me again that you're doing it wrong. Because what you should actually be doing is recording in your camera app, editing in an external video editor. We recommend CapCut because it's very cheap or free and it's great. And you should be saving to a Dropbox server or some sort of cloud server so you don't lose all your files. The trick is to organize it. And this is why we give away our content planner template in the action in Birdcage Marketing School, because it took me years to figure this out on how to be able to plan, schedule, save files and everything in a way that makes sense, in a way that you can then get help from other people.
That's the biggest thing is being able to collaborate on it as a team and not have to be waiting for someone.
And the other thing I noticed that we were doing as a team was we were recording similar things all the time when it's like, well, we've already got that. Why don't you just use it? So download all your videos if you don't already have them saved, but actually go through, create a proper process around that, which we teach in the school. The other thing is build out your email list. But again, you should be doing that anyway. None of this is new to us. It's just like when COVID hit and everyone's like, oh my God, remote working and Zoom calls. It's like, we've been doing it like this since 2015.
And I was on the ground floor when the Meta disruption happened with Meta ads. Like, that was wild to see, because we got so good at knowing so much about your audience and all these little bitty details that maybe we shouldn't have known about, but that's what we were focused on, rather than the creative, rather than the copy. And then when this huge disruption happened, we were like, well, where's your email list? Oh, I don't really have a strong email list. Well, that's a big protection. And then another thing we learned was that it's the creative. The creative is the most important part.
Messaging.
Of creative messaging marketing is the most important part of your marketing.
Yeah. If you have nailed your audience targeting, your messaging, and your creative, you can withstand any platform disruption. That's what it is. So nail those things. And
you're taking action and not just sitting on those things and not sharing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's one thing. It's like, we have a very good process now. Our biggest thing with our students, with our agency clients, it's all well and good that we write these strategies or we help our students create these strategies for themselves. But if they don't take action on it, then I still think that we failed. And so that's why there's a lot of accountability that we are building into the school. When it comes to our done for you strategy clients, there's always follow-ups and harassment to a point to be like, why aren't you doing what you spent all this money getting us to tell you to do? And it's because we're very good at just getting in our own way. But that's why you need support systems to keep you on the straight and narrow.
100%. A lot of my mentoring clients, some of them, we've completed a strategy for them, and then I take them on and coach them through the strategy. But most of them say, I need accountability. I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to give me homework. I need you they want to be told the answers, but when they realize that they have the answers, not me, and their audience has the answers, not me, then they, I think, feel a little bit of relief, but also a little bit of pressure. And then they realize they've got someone that they can bounce ideas off of, understand their strategy a bit more, and implement it.
Yeah, for sure. I like to say we only have intelligent clients and we only have intelligent students. I just think our marketing messages, the type of clients we attract, only really speaks to people that have a certain level of intelligence. Like, if you're binging on this podcast and you're loving it, I'm going to guess you have a pretty decent IQ. If you think it's crap, then guess what? Get the hell out of here. But even, I don't know, it's almost like the more intelligent someone is, the more imposter syndrome they seem to have, and the more they seem to get in their own way.
How do you get over that? Because you are the master at taking action.
Yeah, I am very good at taking action. I want to say it's like a on purpose behavior, an intentional behavior, but I actually have this like wild compulsion that just pushes me forward.
Just default.
Yeah, it's just default. It's just everything needs to be done yesterday.
How do you handle things when they don't go to plan?
Just try something else.
Just take another action.
It's never a question of, oh, it didn't work, I'm a failure. It's, that didn't work, I'm going to try something else. And I think that I'm starting to learn that's quite unique behavior and that's quite a unique way of thinking, but I really put it down to the fact that it's just pure stubbornness in what I want to achieve and what I want to do. It used to be driven very much by like material things and a financial benefit. Now the drive that I have is I'm so confident in what we've built and the framework we've created and the system that I know works, that first of all, I want people to use our system. If you use it and you do it the way we say, you will thank me forevermore. And it's not about thanking me. It's about, I want you to have what I have, which is a life of freedom, fulfillment, of joy, of all the great things. But then if people are take our system and then aren't implementing, I get even more frustrated because I'm like, stop cock blocking yourself. Get out of your own way. If you can't do it yourself, go and outsource it to someone who can. And I actually think that's probably, I don't know about you, but I find that's still such a block for so many people, the outsource, the getting out of their own way.
It's so hard, especially like as a mentor as well, to see these people who have brilliant businesses, who have great ideas, who are so talented, so smart, have such like an awesome product or service or, you know, offers, and to see them not shouting it at on the top of roofs. Like you should be telling everybody you're going to change lives. Like stop criticizing yourself.
Stop thinking you have to do everything yourself.
Yeah. That's something I've noticing quite a pattern with my clients, as well as they think if they just become more efficient, become more organized, all these things, that they'll be able to do more because they're kind of drowning in work. And that's not the best way to look at it either. You're going to hit a ceiling eventually.
Well, I always say that as entrepreneurs, as performance employees, as high performance people, we are driven by whatever compulsion we have inside of us. And we have these habits that lead us to achieve a certain level of success. At a certain point, though, what has been your biggest asset becomes your biggest block. You were once your biggest asset. You are now your biggest block because you can only get yourself to a certain point. It was a realization I was having probably 18 months ago, but it's something that I keep forgetting. And then I keep having to remind myself. But actually what made me first realize it was when I was pulling my tarot cards. And I think it's like the 3 of Wands or something like that, but it's literally the card of teamwork. And it kept popping up like every single time for me. And it was when I was trying to do everything myself, and I still have this habit of just taking it and doing it quickly. But then because I can't have my team help on things, it's like it either stops there, it doesn't progress, it doesn't evolve, or it fizzles out completely. And what I'm really learning to do is just put it onto my team, because they are more than capable and they can achieve things that I can't.
And I think that's the takeaway if you're a solopreneur, or you have a very small team, it's figuring out, is it technology that's going to be on your team? Is it VAs? Is it an agency? Is it freelancers? Like, we don't care how you get them. We're not going to say you need to. We'd love for all of our clients to work with every part of us.
Yeah.
But not everyone's a great fit, whether it's budget or styles of business. But we know that you need a team, and it doesn't have to be us, but it needs to be a good team.
You need support.
Yeah.
I'd say the first place I would probably recommend most people look for support is some sort of like mini me, like an assistant type. Yeah, like an assistant, like an all-rounder. I know in the business, in Birdcage, it was, well, it's either that or it's filling in your gaps. So the first hire I made was Jess, our creative director, graphic designer, because that was my biggest gap. I used to do the logos back in the day, but I'm not a designer. And then it was Facebook ads was another place. That was the other place where I hired you, because it's a very analytical, data-driven thing, which is not so much my thing. But then after that, when I hired Ebony, and she was working next to me in the Granny Flat office, and she is like a big all-rounder as well.
Definitely. And she was an assistant, wasn't she?
I don't really know what her job title was.
Admin, something like that. And then she quickly stepped into social media. Then she said she was interested in ads. And us ad girls were like, oh my God, someone wants to hang out with us.
Yeah.
Yes, please. We want to nerd out with someone else.
Yeah. If you can ideally have someone sitting next to you, don't get worried if it's a home office. Like, don't get worried about that. People like working from home offices. If you can have someone sitting next to you to literally just like become an extension of you, that's the best. And I've gone a very long time from Ebony, who then graduated into paid ads and strategy and everything since then. I've gone a very long time since I've had someone who's like that, but I do again now, and she's wonderful. And her name is Olivia, and she's sitting over there. And big clap for Olivia. She has dramatically improved my life only in the last couple of weeks that she's been working with us. Because of that, I've been able to, I can tell that we're going through another up-leveling in this business. And it's because Liv has been able to take so much load from me. She's also been able to support you guys a whole lot more, because we've got more of a conduit between me and you. Like, if the girls know now, if they need something done from me, they talk to Liv, and Liv makes it happen. But the reality is Liv is sitting right next to me in the office.
And she's creating your to-do list.
She is. And she can literally pin me down and corner me into my office and talk to me. It's easy. When you are remote, it's easy to get overwhelmed and ignore remote messages.
Being remote's hard when you're trying to do teamwork.
And Caroline and Kelly are our 2 remote workers. And yeah, I think it is. People recently went on that TikTok video where they're like, are you hiring? I'm like, well, if you're in Mackay. And then I got in trouble for not hiring remotely. And they're like, why won't you hire remotely? And the reality is because I struggle with it. because I feel like I'm not giving you guys the attention that I should be. But it's because, generally speaking, I've got a lot happening.
Yeah, and you need like a direct manager or something if you're remote. You need a team at least.
Yeah.
Like when I started with Birdcage, we were pretty much half remote, half in office.
Mm-hmm.
And my other team member was remote as well. And so I had her to reach out to for questions and to support me with sticky client projects.
Yeah.
And then I grew in my confidence and and then everything evolved from there. And now I kind of work a little bit in a silo in my mentorship.
I mean, but that was kind of on purpose that we did that though, because it's like, it makes it easier for you as well. If you're able to work independently, then you're not having to like digitally try and chase down answers. You can just make those decisions.
Well, I think it's great for our listeners to hear how you built the team and why, and then how it works from the inside out. Because I think a lot of people looking in would say like, you know, they've got it all figured out, and we're figuring it out every day, but you're definitely doing a better job at figuring it out.
It comes back to understanding your target audience. That's what all good business, all good brand building comes back to. It's understanding target audiences. Because I wasn't happy just to do what agencies do. I wanted to create services and products that actually get results for our clients. And for results, like what do results mean? Results mean everything. It could be anything, but it's like, what do my clients actually care about? And so that's why, building the team the way I have has been really important, but also building out our platforms and our funnels has been important for us to understand our audience, because we need to know what kind of person we want to bring in. There's a big difference between the clients that we were bringing in 2 years ago and the clients that we bring in today. There's a big difference in terms of what type of client they are, how much they're willing to spend, what they're wanting to achieve, what they value, and the fact that our lives have become a lot easier because we have values-aligned clients rather than just taking on anyone who needs marketing support. That's what understanding your audience is going to do for you as well. You need to stop thinking that, anyone who wants to buy from me is my client, and you need to start realizing that you can be very prescriptive with the type of person you want to bring in, and you do that through your content. So if you're concerned about this TikTok ban, you've got other concerns, my friend. If TikTok is your main platform and you're like, my business is going to go under because TikTok doesn't exist anymore, that tells me everything I need to know about your business. And I don't want you to feel bad about it, because the reality is most people, when they come to us, are relying on one platform. They know they need more.
They just don't know how to do it yet.
And that's where we come in.
I think it's keep an open mind, be flexible, see challenges as opportunities. Remember that TikTok ban is only in the US, not everywhere. Is there an open market somewhere that you could be creating business as well? Stay creative with your content, your platforms.
And still keep creating TikTok content. Or don't, so I can get easier reach. Anyway, I don't think people need to be too concerned about it. I really, as I said, I really just see it more as like a temperature check, that if you're worried about it, then you've actually got other concerns, and that this ban will act, and you take action like we're suggesting that you do, this potential ban will actually be beneficial to your business.
Definitely. Never too late to make a change.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Don't forget to reach out to us via DMs. We love hearing from you. Make sure you can reach out via DM and welcome Caroline to the podcast. Let us know what you want to hear from us, and we will be back next week.
Bye.